Hi everyone! In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I applied for my Spain Schengen Tourist Visa through third-party company in New York, including the documents I submitted, how I showed sufficient funds as a self-employed person, what happened during my appointment, and a few things that were not completely clear to me when I was preparing my application. This video is based on my personal experience in 2026. The first thing I did was book an appointment with the Spain Visa Application Centre in New York. Go to the Spain Visa Application Centre website. If you already have an account, simply click Book Appointment. If not, create an account first. Then select all the required information. As you can see, the earliest available appointment was about 2 weeks from the day I checked, which isn't bad. Once you've completed the booking, you'll need to upload your photo. I made this appointment just as an example to show you the process. This is what the appointment confirmation looks like. I printed it and brought it with me to the Visa Application Centre. Next, I downloaded the forms applicable to my application. For my application, the main documents included Schengen Visa Application Form, Checklist, Visa Collection. So let's start reviewing my application package. First, I filled out the Schengen Visa application form on my computer and printed it. Next is the visa collection acknowledgement notice. I didn't fill this form out at home and they didn't ask me for it at the Visa Application Centre. However, I still recommend printing it just in case they ask for it. Next was my proof of jurisdiction. I submitted a copy of my Pennsylvania driver's license. I copied both the front and back. Of course, I submitted my original passport. I also prepared copies of the relevant passport pages, including pages containing previous visas. If you had a Schengen visa issued within the last 3 years, they also ask for a photocopy of that previous visa. For my proof of legal residence in the United States, I submitted my green card. Moving on, you also must create a cover letter explaining your trip. In my cover letter, I included my personal information, the purpose of my trip, my travel dates, the places I plan to visit, my return information. In my case, I mentioned that I would be traveling with my husband. I tried to keep the letter simple and make my itinerary easy for the visa application. My real trip was going to include Spain, France, and Italy. But I didn't want to include all those details because we hadn't bought our tickets yet, and I didn't want to make hotel bookings for 3 different countries. So in my cover letter, I simply said that I was traveling to Barcelona for 1 week. For proof of travel, I provided a round-trip flight reservation. The Visa Center asks for a confirmed flight reservation that includes your booking ID, passenger name, flight numbers, and destinations. For visa applications, I usually use Turkish Airlines because they have an option to hold a booking for a few days. In my case, that was enough to get my visa approved. Just go to their website, choose your flights, and select the hold booking option. For my reservation, it cost about $55. If you know a cheaper way to get a flight reservation just for visa application, please leave a comment below. I'm sure it will be helpful for everyone and for me too. In fact, the Visa Center specifically recommends not buying your actual flight tickets until your visa is approved. So don't risk spending hundreds or even thousands of dollars on non refundable tickets just for your visa application. Next was proof of accommodation. I made my hotel reservation through booking.com. I specifically looked for a hotel with free cancellation by using the filters. Then I scrolled down to the room options and chose a room with no prepayment required, so I wasn't risking any money before knowing whether my visa would be approved or if I only needed the reservation for the visa application. Just don't forget to cancel the booking after you get your visa if you no longer need it. Also, don't submit screenshots. The Visa Center specifically says that screenshots are not accepted. Instead, download the reservation. Now we get to the part that was probably the most confusing for me: proof of sufficient financial means. This was especially important in my situation because I'm self employed. For my personal finances, I submitted my last 3 months of checking account statements. Visa Center asks for all pages of each monthly statement, including pages that may look unimportant. I also submitted my latest credit card statement. I chose the card that I regularly use and that had meaningful monthly activity. My checking account isn't the account where I keep most of my money, so the balance and activity there didn't represent my entire financial situation. Because of that, I decided to provide additional statements from my Vanguard investment account to show additional assets. I treated these as supplementary documents rather than a replacement for the required checking account statements. Moving on, next is travel medical insurance. I chose the travel insurance recommended on the BLS website because it already meets the visa requirements, such as the minimum coverage amount and other required conditions. I didn't want to spend time checking whether my own insurance would qualify. For my application, it cost about €30 for one person for a 1 week trip. I bought it mainly for the visa application because my actual travel dates were different from the dates I used in my cover letter and flight reservation. However, if you already know your exact travel dates, it's a good idea to buy travel insurance that covers your real trip. I don't have pay stubs. I submitted the following documents: my last income tax return, Schedule C only. Since I didn't have my 2025 tax return yet because my tax filing deadline was in September, I mentioned that in my cover letter. I also provided 3 months of business bank statements. And finally, I included my certificate of incorporation for my LLC. All of the requirements for your specific situation can be found in document checklist on the Visa Center's website. Just find a checklist that matches your visa type and personal circumstances. I submitted one passport style photograph. Finally, appointment day. I arrived at the Spain Visa Application Centre in New York at my scheduled appointment time. There was no security check and no bag screening. I just walked in and stood in line at the middle window. After checking in, I received paperwork to complete and then waited for my name to be called. They gave me a form to fill out, and then I sat down and waited for my name to be called. In my case, after about 30 minutes, they called me into a room. They checked all of my documents. I paid the visa fees, and then I waited again for my photo and fingerprint appointment. You can pay the fees by cash or debit card. If you're not sure how to fill out something, don't worry. You can leave it blank and the staff will help you. You can fill in the missing information while you're there. Bring the information you may need and ask for clarification. As of 2026, these were my expenses to about $261. Of course, your total may be different depending on your situation and the services you choose. If you know any good ways to save money during the visa application process, leave a comment below. It could help other people and me too. After almost 2 weeks, I got my passport by mail with Spain visa for 6 months and multi-enters. So once you receive your passport with your visa, don't get too excited just yet. Take a minute to double check all the details. There are 3 important things you should look at. First, check the validity dates. These tell you when you can enter the Schengen area. In my case, my visa was valid for 6 months. Second, check the number of entries. Mine says multi, which means it's a multiple entry visa. I can enter and leave the Schengen area as many times as I want while my visa is valid. Third, check the duration of stay. This is not the same as the visa validity. In my case, it says 90, which means I can stay in the Schengen area for up to 90 days within any 180-day period. Congratulations to me! I got my Schengen visa. Now it's time to start planning my trip. Use my experience as a practical example, but always compare your documents with the current checklist before your appointment. I'll put the official Visa Center Tourist Visa page in the description below. And if this video helped you prepare for your Spain Schengen visa, please like the video and subscribe. Good luck with your application and hopefully see you in Spain.